Oh, good morning, y'all. I'm taking this off. Um, Happy Friday. How y'all doing? I'm feeling exceptionally good, which is no different than what's been happening in recent weeks. I'm feeling exceptionally good. And I had a feeling of, well, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop because I've had such hard times at the beginning of this year. Not just the beginning of this year, really. I had the hardest time at the beginning of the year, but I've had hard times for the last 5 years to where I forgot what feeling good. Oh, I forgot what feeling good feels like, to be honest with you, in some senses. I've had moments of feeling good for sure over the past 5 years. But I mean, just like in a general sense of waking up every single day of the week and feeling, feeling happy or whatever, it's just not, it has not been a thing for me. So I'm losing that sense of, I don't know if anyone has felt that way, where you've just had so many bad things happen that when you reach a stretch of time where you feel good, you're like, when is the bad part coming? Like, it's coming eventually. I don't know when, but it's coming eventually. So yeah, it hasn't been there. So last night, you guys know, I went to this event. It's the same event that I actually met Kara at last year, which is the fibroids event. And you remember when I gave her the stars and everything? She loved the stars. I almost don't even want to say this, but like, life hack for people who love the challenge, right? Or you love any kind of show. I mean, this just happens to be the only thing that I know about that is like this. A challenge event. The last challenge event that I went to, I paid $200 to go. Shout out to y'all because y'all actually paid for that. When I said I didn't have money to go to that challenge event last year, and it was actually an event that she was at, and y'all donated and got me the $200 to go. This is what my $200 got me. They did a live Q&A. Hi everyone who joined. They did a live Q&A, and after the Q&A, I participated in the Q&A, and as in I asked a couple of questions, and then after that, they said, "Oh, there's a Cara Maria line." So I stood in the line. I had a VIP ticket, so I was actually supposed to be one of the first people in this line, but I still stood in the line for a good 30 minutes or so, which is not long compared to the CT line of a couple years ago. Um, yeah, so there was a guy standing there with a phone timer and said, "You have 90 seconds to say whatever you want to say to Cara Maria." And I was like, I paid for a $200 VIP ticket to speak to her for 90 seconds. I was seriously really pissed about that. I'm like, what in the world am I paying $200 for? Trust me, this is my favorite challenge person ever, but I didn't even think that was worth it. No disrespect to her. I think I even told her this at some point. I'm like, no disrespect to you, but I told her right after, as a matter of fact. I'm like, $200 to speak to you for 90 seconds and take a picture? That's ridiculous. Which is part of the reason why that was. Did I go to another challenge event? I don't think so. So This fibroids event is totally different than going to a challenge event, because despite the fact that, people know who she is and she's still like, like a celebrity in her own right, the event is not all about her. The event is about a cause. The event is about fibroids awareness, and she's one person out of, that large group that is talking about the cause. And so for this specific thing, they have a panel, and then they start with the panel. The panel is about a couple of hours, I guess, and then from there they have like a banquet hall that they rent out, and there's like 8 to 12. It's like about 8 to midnight or 8 till 11:30 or something like that at the banquet hall, right? So it's not like a challenge mania, because you're not fighting to get her attention. There's a few other challenge fans there, obviously, who go and they're like, can I take pictures, can I talk to you? But in a 4-hour span of just relaxing and chilling, it's way different than a challenge event where everything is just fighting with people to get a snapshot. You can actually really take time and have conversations and have fun and stuff like that. And we had fun. And it's way more worth it. It was $60 for a ticket compared to a $200 Challenge Mania ticket. Listen, shout out to Challenge Mania. I somewhat like the concept, but I keep it real. Challenge Mania has expanded to a point where it's clearly, just about making money. I respect the hustle, I know that the goal of anything is to just make more money, but there's something lost on those events from when I first started going. Because when I first started going, they were a little smaller and they were a little more intimate and they were a lot more enjoyable. And as time has gone on, they've become like Comic Cons. So the life hack that I'm talking about is going to more of an event like this, where you get the person in a more relaxed environment, and it's not like camera all the time, and they're kind of giving you these boxed answers because they know that that's what everybody is there for. Yeah, I mean, that's that for that. What else? Oh yeah, and the same thing goes for those 2 Tory events that I went to. I think it was much more fun, like hanging with Tori in a sense at her poetry thing versus getting her at a challenge event, because again, it's way more relaxed. Yes, the people there were Tory fans, but y'all might get what I'm saying. Y'all might not get what I'm saying, but it is what it is. So this is not a replacement video for what I said that I'm going to do tonight, but I did watch the episode finally. I got to watch the episode this morning. I did see half of the episode last night, actually. I had it on when we were in the banquet hall. I had it on for a little bit and watched about 50% of it with captions on. So I was able to watch the whole thing in its entirety. I saw that Adrian dominated the puzzle competition. Like when I knew that Adrian won, but I didn't see the blockbuster, and I assumed that the blockbuster was something more on the physical side. And then when I saw that it was a puzzle, I was like, not saying that I didn't think Adrian could win a puzzle. I just didn't think that he would win a puzzle that easily. Like a puzzle to me is a very level, even playing field. And then we all knew, from the talks that were happening in the house and everything, that Amy was about to go, if it was Will versus Amy. I did not know it would be like a unanimous 13-0 vote, but I did know that she was going to go by way of the majority. The last one hit Zach specifically really hard, and this one seemed to hit several of them really hard, even though they were all like, I'm getting Amy out. But Ava was crying, Ashley was crying, Rachel, of course, was crying. It seemed to generally hit the group hard. And honestly, Amy to me is not a big. Hi, Mary. If I didn't say that, Amy to me is like not a big threat. It's just like Amy is. Oh, like Amy is Rachel's right hand, so it's an easy move to get her out because we don't want to take the shot at Rachel just yet, but we want to weaken Rachel's game. But really, honestly, Rachel doesn't have much skin in the game. Let me be honest with you. Everything that they're saying about Rachel is pretty much essentially just based on her history. Like, we've seen her history and we're scared of what she has done historically. So therefore, we want to just it's weird. They're like, we want to keep her to a certain point, but then we're all gonna like gang up and take her out. Maybe they're I don't know. I just don't understand where they stand with Rachel, because the majority of them seem to actually like Rachel and they don't seem in a rush to get her out. So this Amy move, I said this before, but I like Rachel. Amy was the Izzy, I think. They considered Amy as like the Izzy. So they were like, this is her second person, and we want to get the person out so that Rachel is isolated, and then there she needs a home. So we're gonna kind of keep her around until we decide that it's time for her to go. They don't realize. I mean, everybody is just like, oh, Rachel's such a big threat. Just like they said Sari was such a big threat. Yeah, these are people who are so good at these games, but they're at a major disadvantage for being somebody who's known. It's so unlikely for them to just bring some, I'll call her a reality TV celebrity. That's what I'll call her. For the reality TV world, Rachel is a celebrity. So to bring like a celebrity for that world into the game, they have very low odds of actually winning. I thought Rachel said some interesting things though, when she was just like, she's the ultimate pawn. When she was talking about Amy, like, I want her in the game. She did say we're friends now, but she was like, also, she's the ultimate pawn, and she's a person who I would win against, sitting next to in the final two chairs. And I'm like, I mean, that's quite possible, but did she actually think it was a possibility for her and Amy to sit next to each other in the final two chairs? Because that's probably the most unlikely of scenarios for her and Rachel to have been sitting next to each other on the final two. And quite frankly, I'm surprised at the way that Rachel is playing this game, because the players, she said, the players are really messy and sloppy, but she's been messy and sloppy. So I don't understand how she as her person that early and that strongly. Like, I don't mind her having Amy as her person or anything like that. However, I'm like, can you keep that on the low? Can you Like, can you be a little bit more discreet about that? Because people knowing that was Amy's downfall, and now you lost your buffer. You had like a little buffer for a while, but now it's just you. And then okay, so Ashley, and what's her name, Mickey, and Ashley and Mickey are kind of like, Rachel has nowhere else to go, so she's an asset to us for now, because they have formed groups that she's not a part of. They still talk to her on a regular basis, but they have said, like, we don't really want her getting the jury type thing. The only one who really seems to be highly in her corner like that out of the people that's left is probably Morgan. Morgan seems to be the one that just really is interested in working with her, but she lost her buffer for sure, because Jimmy is not one to be trusted, in my opinion. It's like, I think they like each other personally, but I think game wise, it's like, either you're gonna get me out or I'm gonna get you out. It's just, we have to decide when. It's gonna depend on who's HOH to figure out when that's gonna happen. Speaking of HOH, Lauren is the HOH, and I don't know what's about to happen with Lauren. I'm not sure who Lauren is gonna select, and I haven't watched any feeds or anything to know who she's leaning towards, but she's a little bit of a wild card because she's not really deeply entrenched in any alliances. I know she's one of the only people in the house that seems to like Catherine, which is interesting, but when it comes to her picks, like, I'm completely in the dark about who she might pick to go on the block. But we'll find out today. And I can't wait for this super stream that I'm going to do, which is going to have more of my recap of yesterday's episode. And then it's going to have some of my thoughts about Lauren winning HOH. And then she'll have made her picks by then. So we're going to know who's going on the block, possibly who's in mind for a potential replacement nom. And yeah, so that's it. And I'm jumping off this thing. I'm almost at my destination. But thank you for joining me. Hi, Mickey. Thank you for joining me. And I'll probably jump on here a couple more times throughout the day as time permits. And that's it. I hope y'all have a good Friday. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified when I drop some more great content. Thank you, and have a great morning and day.